Nobody's... Yeah, he's funny, but no one's as funny as us, I think. I've heard. The buzz.
Your mom told you that?
My mom told me I was super funny. Oh, man. How can you trust someone who's never had alcohol in their life?
Exactly.
It's disgusting. If someone told me that they'd never had a drop of alcohol in their life, I would just, like, not even want to continue talking to them. Because, like, unless they're 10 years old. Otherwise...
And then you probably would stop talking to them.
I'd buy him a drink.
So there's a Vegas, an LA to Vegas party train now.
Oh, that'd be so fun.
$99.
Oh, that'd be so fun.
Each way, all the beer, all the booze, all the food you can eat to Vegas.
99 round trip.
No, one way.
Okay. Because you don't know if you're coming back.
Exactly.
That'd be so fun.
What, hang with a bunch
Does Amtrak do that?
No, it's a private
train?
Private train.
I don't think so.
Yes.
There's no private trains.
There is now.
There's like railroads.
Well, they're leasing...
They're not like didn't lay their own party track.
No, but they're leasing they lease
the track.
Yeah.
Wow. It could be fun with like the right crew if you had like a different
I just see like a bunch of bros with like with like pop collars and like
but
raising on this train.
Trains are so fun. That would be the perfect amount of time too, because and on a train you could have like a hot tub. You could have everything. It could be like a party train.
White trash is coming out of you right now. I have never seen you that excited. It could be fun. You could have a hot tub.
No, listen, it could be really fun. A party train, like you have like a full bar,
satellite TV,
TVs, like 4 TVs.
Got the games on.
You could have like 4 games on. You could have
Wi-Fi,
a full bar, Wi-Fi,
a goat. So
the
rail's like international waters. You could like do anything you want there.
It may be. I think the laws that you are governed by the laws of the
railroad.
Where the railroad laws. It was like they set up some railroad laws.
They have no laws.
It's the Wild West. No, I think wherever the train was built, that's the laws you have to obey. And most trains are built in like Barbados and stuff, so it's like, you can get away with murder.
I just with the porters or the steward. I mean, they're porters. They're not stewards or stewardesses.
Stewards.
I'm
a train steward.
But would there be like girls wearing like engineers caps and like sexy
engineer caps?
Yeah, it'd be like
all aboard.
Yeah, exactly. All aboard. Yeah, and with the drink specials would be, railroad themed,
like the pile driver.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah,
there could be like a stripper who would have the golden spike, which would be a dildo. I mean, the possibilities are just so.
Oh, you like drive this. Oh wow, and it'd be like John Henry versus the fucking machine. There lies a steel driving man.
Wow,
that was pretty good. The party train would be fun. I'd prefer that over a Mexican party bus.
How about have you ever been on a party bus?
Yeah, I have. It was awful. I took it like one stop and I got off.
They have stops? What stop did you get off at?
Oh wait, I was just thinking of the 38 bus.
The 38's a party bus?
There was a Mexican driving and it was full of drunk people. No, I took a party bus once and then it stopped in North Beach and I just got off. I was like, this is horrible.
Why were you on it? How did you get on it?
It was an ex-girlfriend's friend, so I went with her. So you're against the Mexican party train?
I didn't say I was against it.
You for it? Do you have an opinion?
Kind of ambivalent towards it. I'm never going to take it.
What if you needed to go to Vegas and that was the cheapest way?
To get to Vegas on a train?
Yeah. You had to take a train to Las Vegas, and the cheapest way, and you had to get there overnight. There was the only train. All the planes were grounded.
It's like 400 miles.
Listen,
all the
planes were grounded.
There's a new 911. You're setting it up here.
You had to take the Mexican party train to Vegas. What'd you do?
Why would I have to?
There was no other option.
Why do I have to get to Vegas?
It was like a donor situation.
A donor.
You were a courier for a kidney that you had to pick up in Vegas, and you had to take the Mexican party train. Would you do it? Would you
I didn't say Mexican. It was just like a party train. I'm envisioning
You're like, keep quiet up there.
I just think it's a bro party train.
It depends on who pays. I mean, it doesn't have to be a bro party train. They had like a punk rock party cruise. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, I've heard about that.
Yeah, it depends on who plunks down the dough. I mean, usually it would be a bro thing, but I mean, it doesn't have to be. We could have like a Mexican party train.
Why do you keep bringing Mexicans up?
The Mexican party bus. Why are party buses inherently Mexican? Why do they call them that? Did it start there, the tradition of party buses?
I don't know. Mexicans like to party?
Mexicans like to party. And they like the bus.
They like the bus?
When I was in L.A., those were the only people that rode it. Me and them.
You're not Mexican. Why couldn't I rent a car?
No, there's
no cars?
There was some weird thing, and you just couldn't do it. It was like a post-apocalyptic Mexican party bus. It's the only way to get to Vegas.
You had to go.
There's no gas.
How's the train running?
Coal. It's a choo-choo train.
How long is it going to take to get there?
You said 4 hours.
So it's going slower.
It's going slower, but not that much. They go pretty fast.
No, they don't.
How do you know how fast How do you know how fast when did you ride a choo-choo train?
My grandfather has a choo-choo train.
He does not.
Well, he's deceased.
Your grandfather owned a train?
Yeah.
Well, is your grandfather like a baron?
No, he has a steam engine too. This a family history provides more evidence that Lincoln was gay.
Was Lincoln gay?
That's a hot rumor.
Well, why would they think that?
Or a fabulous rumor.
It's okay if he was, but why did they think so? Did he? There was Mary Todd Lincoln. Didn't he have a wife? I don't know.
Rock Hudson, he have a wife?
Did he have a wife?
I think so.
Yeah, I think he did.
Lincoln lived with and shared a bed with Joshua Speed for 4 years, and they remained friends years after they no longer lived together. He also had a close relationship with Captain David Dickerson, who would stay with Lincoln overnight at the soldiers' home when Lincoln's wife Mary left town. There were reports of Captain Dickerson, I think, whatever,
David Dickerson,
wearing Lincoln's nightshirt. And Lincoln has been quoted as saying, with a twinkle in his eye, "The captain and I are getting quite thick."
So Lincoln was gay.
Allegedly.
Which is totally fine. Maybe that explains his, tolerance of, he wanted to just, he was a progressive guy. He was sleeping with 2 different dudes. Josh Speed and David Dickerson.
Allegedly.
Captain Dickerson and Josh Speed.
Yeah.
Allegedly. That makes me like him more.
Is that how the Spielberg film ends?
I think it does. I think it's like a 3-way orgy at the end. It's like a Lincoln sandwich at the end of Lincoln.
It's like that. You saw that thing on, I think it was on Gawker, the Gautier song.
No.
You know Gautier?
Yeah.
Somebody I used to know. But there was these 2
guys. Is that
guys.
how you say it?
Yeah, Gautier.
I thought it was Goatsy. Goatsy. Gautier? I haven't even heard that song.
Goatsy?
Goatsy? Like Goatsy?
Like
the Goatsy, the gaping butthole guy.
Yeah,
you don't know about that, but you know about Gautier?
Yeah, I don't know about the gaping butthole guy.
Look up Goatsy sometime.
I don't really think I need that
G-O-A. I'll look it up on my phone. Do you want to look it up right now? You want to see something?
No, I don't. I'm
going to look up Goatsy.
Is that like the Pink Flamingos movie? Or the
No.
Birds of Word?
No, although it's close. It is close. You do not want to see these Goatsy videos. Oh my god, no. Do you want to see what Goatsy is?
Take a peek.
Oh.
Wow.
Goatsy.
Is that on your list? Goatsy?
No, I haven't thought about that in years. It's a meme from early 2000s, late 90s.
It's a meme before memes were cool.
Yeah, it was a pre-meme.
You know, bestiality is still legal in Germany?
Really?
Yeah.
How do you know that? I think I'm doing some woofing over there. Really?
Really.
Wow. Totally. Across the board.
Right.
All animals.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's true.
That's crazy.
Because there's erotic zoos.
No, there are not.
No, seriously.
There are not
Yes,
erotic zoos.
erotic zoos.
Where did you get this in?
Huffington Post. So these erotic zoos, and they cater to people who, want to have sex with an animal, any kind of animal. And so, like, the government in Germany is trying to, like, pass laws against bestiality to shut down the erotic zoos.
Hold on. So you could go to a zoo, and they'd, like,
there's
harness a bear.
Well, there's specialty zoos.
They'd, like, harness a hyena into some contraption and you could fuck it?
I don't know if it's, like, fetishist.
Or do you just, like, stand there and jerk off while there are hyenas around?
Slow down. So, like, harness as in, like, dominatrix? So you dominate the bear?
Yeah.
I didn't research what goes on at the zoos as how...
I don't know if you should be searching those.
Research. Pete Townsend searched
Your
things.
Google ads are going to be crazy. Wow, I did not know that. So there are animal fuck zoos in Germany for.
I guess they're hard to ignore, is what the. I guess so, but I don't know if they're.
Imagine that Google Maps mix-up if you're like trying to take your kids to a zoo in Germany, and it's like, hey.
That'd be Apple Maps. Yeah. They're screwed up.
Hey kids, you guys want to go to the zoo? We're in Germany a couple more days. Let's go check it out. And then you go, and it's just like
men fucking animals.
Men fucking apes.
Or women.
Or don't.
People can visit to abuse animals ranging from llamas to goats. Ranging.
You know what? I hate llamas. I wouldn't go. I mean, not enough to like hate fuck a llama, but I've been spit on by a llama before. And, yeah.
You weren't turned on.
I wasn't. I wasn't turned on. Oh, this podcast took a good turn. Just keep rolling.
You have a list, like Nixon.
I've got an enemies list, just like Anthony Hopkins and Nixon.
Like how your history is. You got like history from
predicated by
Oliver Stone films,
movies.
or anybody that Anthony Hopkins. Meet Joe Black, the world's fastest Indian.
I didn't see it.
I neither, but he was in it. Remains of the Day, was he in that too? I think it was.
Probably. Seems like something.
You got a Hopkins fetish there?
No. He was in a lot of good stuff. Now he's in the Hitchcock biopic.
So if you were on an island, would you have sex with Anthony Hopkins? If you were on a steam-powered locomotive in the post-apocalyptic world, would you have sex with him? And you had to have sex with him in order to get a liver transplanted into your dying girlfriend. Would you do it?
Yes. But
what happens if you fall in love with Anthony Hopkins? And thereby...
There'd be worse people to be put in that situation with.
But you are so infatuated after that moment in post-coital bliss...
Would I be a top or a bottom for Anthony Hopkins?
I'm just saying, I'm not going there. Your imagination can run wild and
I would be a top.
On the deed.
I'd be a top with Anthony Hopkins, but I don't want to be bottom with anybody.
So I'm just saying, you're sitting there post-coital,
in a lover's embrace.
Embrace.
Locked like lovers. Yeah.
The beads of sweat are becoming one giant stream between your loins. The air is fetid with the stench of apocalypse. I don't know what that means, and you know your girlfriend is about to die if she doesn't have this liver, but yet you look at Anthony Hopkins and go, I finally found what I'm looking for. Yeah. Well, would you be afraid of that?
You know, at that point, I'd probably roll with the punches. At that point, I just pretty much go with what it's the apocalypse. I need the liver, but who's gonna put the liver in my girlfriend? It's like post-apocalypse. I gotta find a doctor, and it's weird enough I'm having sex with an Oscar-winning actor that's a man. So it's a weird situation.
But the apocalypse have mutated the man.
It mutated Anthony Hopkins. Idaho scientist. He set out to prove the existence of the Sasquatch via blimp. And he has a Kickstarter.
Via blimp?
Yeah, he's got a Kickstarter or something. He's trying to raise money to get a blimp to go into the woods of Idaho. Are there woods in Idaho? I don't know if it's in Idaho. Yeah, the Idaho woods. Because he wants to prove the existence of Sasquatch. The Skunk Ape.
With a blimp?
Yeah. I guess.
How would he do that?
You would see him from the air.
Through the trees and the foliage.
I don't know. You may get the blimp really low. Or maybe set out Sasquatch bait. What's your stance
on the blimp?
No.
I'm really confused right here. Why is there a blimp?
Maybe if I were going to catch a Sasquatch, I'd put a bunch of cameras on a blimp.
Yeah.
Then hang bait from the blimp.
What would Sasquatch eat?
What does a Sasquatch eat?
Nobody knows because it
Garbage.
hasn't been proven yet. How about the guy who was like faking these Sasquatch
Then got hit by a car
and died?
Yeah.
Yeah, he
That was
died
sad.
doing what he loved.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about
But how
that.
is that? So you have a blimp. How is that going to prove the existence?
I think he thinks that like
Are
you can
Sasquatch
sneak up. You can sneak up on the Sasquatch with a blimp.
But are Sasquatches like predisposed to? I mean, do they have like a blimp?
They love
fetish?
blimps. Sasquatches love blimps.
What about a zeppelin?
Yeah, no, any kind of floating dirigible. Dirigible?
Didgeridoo?
Didgeridoo? Any floating didgeridoo. Fluttering. You hang bait from the dirigible. But I don't know.
That's how the Hindenburg crashed, right?
That's a Sasquatch.
Well, they were hanging bait from it. They're hanging schnitzel. And the Sasquatch are like...
The Sasquatch like ran into a motor and the thing just like exploded.
the humanity.
Alright. That's pretty good. Gummy bears? We in Berlin are thankful for gummy bears.
Schnitzel?
We're thankful. We love schnitzels. True. We have obese mannequins. We have scientists hunting for Sasquatch via blimp. Which that part was pretty good.
The blimp part?
The blimp part.
Is it an actual blimp or is it a fat person? Is it an adjective, a derogatory term to describe a fat person?
You know, who calls a fat person a blimp anymore? Who calls a fat person anything? You know, fat people aren't.
They're not fat anymore.
Fat people aren't even fat anymore. We've entered a post-racial, post-fat era.
Maybe like fatter people is going to be good for society
Why is that?
because they're going to demand bigger airline seats
Yeah.
and more legroom, and they'll have to accommodate. So people who are of normal,
I mean,
you know,
an underweight individual,
yeah,
such as yourself.
could take advantages of having this wonderful airline seat. Or maybe are we going to be second class citizens? They'll be like, no, you have to ride in a. You have to stand up.
A skinny person in a fat man's world.
Yeah.
We're living in a fat man's world, and we have so much space. We have so much space to stretch out in a fat man's world. Am I marginally fat?
No, but
Would you say that? Would you say I'm marginally fat? Am I paunchy? I'm kind of paunchy. I don't want to let myself go.
Wow.
How do you fight the paunch?
The fuck?
Do you do crunches? You?
I do crunches.
You do crunches? How often do you do crunches?
Daily?
How many?
100.
100 crunches every day.
Yeah. Do some sit-ups. Do some push-ups too. Yeah.
You're like a serial killer. You're like American Psycho. You like wake up every morning and like do 100 crunches. I'm not that disciplined. That's crazy. You wake up and do 100 crunches.
Andrew WK is
Oh, yeah.
a State Department representative to party in Bahrain.
So lay it all out there. What exactly happened for our podcast?
He was going to go to like Bahrain, and I think that's how you pronounce it, right?
Bahrain. I dated. That's where what's her face was from.
Bahrain. So he was going to teach kids about positivity and partying and rocking out, I guess.
But apparently it was a snafu.
As an ambassador to
Yeah.
the United States, kind of like the USO tour. But then I guess like the State Department like saw an Andrew WK video and then said no, he doesn't fit into our.
Yeah, they said he'd be a bad choice. I read that, but why? How did he get chosen in the first place?
I think he volunteered. I think he was like, I want to go spread the message of
to
partying.
Bahrain.
Wherever. You know?
Yeah. Wow.
Maybe he's the one who can broker Mideast peace. I'm just like wondering why the State Department doesn't want that message to be spread.
They don't want
To Bahrain.
the United States to look like hedonistic partiers that wear all white and want fun. They don't want people to think we want fun.
Better believe it.
They don't want people to believe it. So that's what they're saying. If they're anti-WK, is we don't want fun, or if we do want fun, don't believe it. I don't know. Either way, it wasn't right. They strung Andrew WK along. It's hard to transition from like punk rock party guy to ambassador. Few have done
Motivational speaker.
Few have done it. Motivational.
Jello Biafra, did he do it? No. Henry Rollins?
No.
He's
a liar. How would Henry Rollins fare as an ambassador?
In what country could he be an ambassador?
It'd have to be a tropical country because he's always wearing shorts and he never has shoes.
He's lifting weights.
Yeah, no, he's burly. I mean, it would have to be like he's kind of like an American like Superman, hardcore Superman. I don't know. It would have to be a country that didn't know anything. I don't know. Oh man! This podcast is dying. Oh Jesus! Stop lobbing them out there, but the last podcast you carried it because I was so drunk that even Ari talked about that. Like, wow, Lee talked a lot in the last podcast. Like he mostly because all the shit I said was so stupid that I cut it all out. So the entire podcast was you talking and then me like, about Middle East.
So like Henry Rollins. So if there's a Bob Dole museum.
Yeah.
Is there? I don't know. Why?
Probably. He was enigmatic.
He was in the war.
Yeah, he was
he had a...
He had kind of an atrophied arm. He had like a T-Rex arm.
From the war.
Yeah.
And he always held the pen.
I met him in person.
Oh.
He was very grizzled. I've never seen someone with that pallor.
He was in the war.
No, I don't know if the war has had anything to do.
He was in the war.
He looked like he'd been preserved, like jerky. He was like jerkified. I've never met anyone with that kind of like skin tone. Like it was really strange. And he had the weird arm.
Did you meet at a zoo? I didn't just ask if you met at a zoo.
We were double teaming a rhino. I was like, "Are you Bob Dole?" And he had a pen in his hand. That's how I knew it was.
That wasn't a pen.
I don't think I've ever really heard a Justin Bieber song to completion.
I haven't either. But
I was reading today that somebody in his hometown in Canada, wherever that is, they're selling dirt from his hometown, like Bieber dirt, for like $40 on eBay.
Like the dirt of Calvary?
Yeah. Yeah. They're selling like it's a jar of dirt from his hometown with like a sparkly like bedazzled J on it with a cork in the
really because that cemetery in Pisa where the cadavers would decompose in like a matter of days, and the dirt is from Calvary.
Huh. What happens?
Well, they bury the knights or Crusaders or whatever.
In the Holy Grail.
Well, no, in the cemetery, and they would decompose faster than anywhere, in like a week.
Huh. That's weird.
And the dirt is from Calvary. So I was just wondering what, like, the Bieber dirt would do. Would that make you...
If you're buried in Bieber dirt?
Well, yeah, or what...
You would spend a lot of money, because $40 only gives you, like, a vial of Bieber dirt.
Right, well...
But
what about that little vial? If you sprinkled it on something?
Like, put a handful of Bieber dirt on my grave as they lower it.
He wore overalls to meet the Prime Minister.
Oh, I heard about that. It was a
scandalous
scandal.
But it was you remember that like in the 90s it was the faded denim overalls, and then they didn't wear one,
like Spin Doctors overalls.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. But hip hop would do it. They would like I think
Arrested Development.
Yeah, and they wouldn't wear one strap. Yeah. But he was doing that and like looking all not thuggish, but like
unkempt, too unkempt,
tweenish, I guess.
An unkempt tween.
Yeah, he had a sneer on his face.
Oh, he's a rebel.
Why are we talking about Bieber?
How did we get on Bieber? I think rag on some juggalos. No more talking about juggalos. No,
I didn't bring it up.
No, we cannot talk about juggalos ever again. People were coming in and we're like, "What are juggalos?" Like asking me about juggalos. I was like, "God damn it!" Like Because I'm not kidding, a good third of our show last time was Juggalo.
All I'll say about Juggalos is
It's provocative.
It is.
Like, it's a conversation
Talk
starter.
about it.
Yeah.
Sriracha, man! Fuck yeah! Sriracha wasabi! Alright, that's intense! Wow, this is good! Yeah! Woo!